A Trip to Greece, Solangelo AU, by Prittiestpivvo, Chapter 16, Epilogue. 10 years later, Will's point of view. Greece was a place I remembered. That trip changed my life. Nico and I had been dating since that day in Heraklion, since we were 17 years old. About 3 months ago, I decided on something, a big step for both of us, that I had yet to reveal to Nico. What I had revealed to him, though, was that we were going on a holiday with Annabeth and Percy to Heraklion. I had invited the two, who almost immediately knew why we were going to Greece. I lost my hearing for 2 hours after that interaction. Percy had proposed to Annabeth 2 years before, on a pier by their favourite lake. She had, of course, said yes. The wedding happened a year later, in the summertime. That wedding had got me thinking, and I finally realised, yes, this is what I want to do. All four of us met up at the airport at 6:30 a.m. Annabeth and I both practically dragging our significant annoyances behind us. The flight was long and tedious, but we all conversed easily and got ourselves through it. I had gotten major deja vu when Nico had fallen asleep on my shoulder during the flight. I giggled with Percy and Annabeth this time. Our plane flew to Athens, where we would catch a connecting flight to Heraklion for another hour. I think it was at this point Nico started to suspect something was up. After we rode in a taxi to our hotel, which just so happens to be Unique Blue Resorts, and got our room card and numbers, which also just so happened to be the same room as 10 years ago, we dumped all our stuff and went to get some breakfast since the sun was rising. Ooh, can we please go shopping? It's not every day I get to come here, Annabeth pleaded. I grinned at her. She would help me stall until sunset later today. We roamed around the shops for a while, Annabeth playing back perfectly. The sun grew hot over our heads, and we grabbed a quick lunch before heading back to the hotel. We went in the water and to the beach until about 6:30 p.m. I had Annabeth take Nico back up to the rooms to change. Percy and I sprung into action. I grabbed the pair of clothes I had brought in our beach bag and shoved them on the bathroom on the first floor lobby. Percy had already begun sprinkling rose petals into a rough circle and path. We had asked the hotel to do this, so we knew it was okay when I began lighting candles and digging them into the sand. 45 minutes later, we were ready. The sky was turning orange, so I sent Annabeth a text. I was so nervous, I started to tap my bare foot into the sand. There were a few people who were watching us create the scene, and they were all eager to see my proposal. Waiting until I saw him in the glass doors. I snorted. Annabeth had tied a t-shirt around his head to cover his eyes, and his hands were outstretched, trying to figure out where he was. Annabeth, can I please take this off now? I heard him plead. Fine. Annabeth smiled so wide it probably hurt as she pulled the makeshift blindfold from his eyes. It took him a second, but he stared at the beach and his jaw dropped, chocolate eyes wide. Then he spotted me. I didn't hear him, but I saw him mouth. Will? Tears forming on his waterline. He made his way down the path slowly, as if still not believing this was real. Tears were falling freely down his face now. He finally made it into the circle we had made, only 2 feet in front of me. I smiled at him, tears filling my own eyes. I bent down, getting on one knee. I could hear Annabeth sobbing quietly behind Nico. Nico D'Angelo, I started, pulling out a black velvet box. I opened the lid, revealed the diamond ring I had chosen with Annabeth's help a few weeks earlier. You have made me the happiest man ever. You always bring out the best version of me, and I like to think I bring out the best in you. Nico let out a half laugh, half sob at that. I smiled wider. I love you so, so much, and I would be so honored if you would marry me. Nico took a deep, stuttering breath. You're so stupid, of course I will. He started full on crying when I slid the ring onto his finger. I felt hot tears streaming down on my face as well. People were cheering on the sides. I held his waist, brought him close, and kissed him. I heard the snap of the Polaroid that time. Love you, death boy, I whispered. Nico laughed and wiped the tears running down his face. Love you too, sunshine. He whispered back. We turned to Annabeth and Percy, the former who was crying in earnest, the latter also crying, while pulling her close. I winked at him and laughed. Thanks, wingman. He laughed and winked back. You're welcome. And that is it. That is chapter 3. That was a fun one. A little bit awkward for me to read out loud, but it was fun. And words, there was a couple mixed up. I was like, what the hell am I reading? Well, thank you for listening.